Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of the All We Do Is Talk podcast. We're here with the Week 14 predictions. It's going to be an interesting one. We finally got flexed primetime games. I'm here with Moody and Isaiah. How we doing?
Backsides are getting tight, Eric. It's December time. The pressure is really starting to ramp up on these football teams. It's make or break season. If people are about to get fired, people are about to create legacies. I'm excited to see it.
You want to start with tight backsides? Okay. Okay. Let's get into these games.
All right.
Let's not waste no time like Jason Claypool last night.
All right. So we're going to start with Las Vegas heading to Kansas City. Kansas City is a 10-point favorite over under 47.5.
It's crazy that Kansas City is a 10-point favorite, but the over-under is under 50. Like, that really shows the kind of football that Kansas City's been playing over the last 2 months. Tough, hard-nosed defensive football and sloppy offense that does just enough to win the game. That sounds like a Patrick Mahomes-led team, right? Last time these two teams went off, for whatever reason, Vegas decided to play straight cover one, cover three, man, single high, and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill tortured them. Because everyone else had decided that, hey, let's just play this cover two game plan. Gus Bradley thought he could play his own game plan. He got destroyed for it. It'll be interesting to see what he decides to do in this rematch. He's the type of guy who likes to stick with his gun, stick with the coverages. I do expect him to stay with that overall, because that's just what they do. It would be hard for Vegas to like categorically change who they are for a specific matchup, even if this is a big division game. So I'm going to take Kansas City to cover the 10 and the over, just because I expect Vegas to continue to play the defense they've been playing against Kansas City, and Kansas City is going to pick that apart. It's what they live to play against, one-on-one coverage on the outside. And I think the Vegas Raiders are still struggling both sides of the ball. No Darren Waller. Chiefs defense is playing really well. I do think Derek Carr's good enough to put up some points on the board, but they won't be able to keep up over 4 quarters.
Yeah, I'll cautiously agree. I'll take Kansas City. I agree with everything you said. I don't know how good Oakland is, and I have to assume they're going to play him. Gus Bradley's stubborn. He said he likes playing and sticking to that cover three, cover one safety look. So, I mean, I unless proven otherwise, I'm going to have to take Kansas City cautiously. I took them 31-17 to cover any over, because maybe Oakland's offense shows up and does something, or maybe Kansas City's offense does all the heavy lifting.
Well, yeah. Well, Las Vegas, Isaiah, will score enough points to get this total. I think 47.5 is pretty low after seeing the last matchup we had against these two teams and City going off. So yeah, I'll take Kansas City as well. I usually don't like taking Kansas City more than a touchdown, but Las Vegas is a dumpster fire right now. I'll take Kansas City in the over. All right, so let's keep it moving. We'll go to New Orleans, heading up to New Jersey to face the Jets. New Orleans is a 5.5-point favorite over under 43.
I don't know how all these teams had to spend December playing a bunch of tough, competitive division matchups with playoff implications, and New Orleans gets the Jets.
Someone's got to play the Jets every week. Someone's going to play the Jets every
Miami,
week.
like one of the division teams. Like
they can only play them twice.
New Orleans gets a nice cushiony fallback road game against the Jets to go get their problems figured out. New Orleans should go out here and take care of business. Even though their offense is struggling, they're on the longest losing streak in Sean Payton's history, and the Jets have shown the ability to fight and even steal a game every now and again. I think the return of Alvin Kamara plus Taysom Hill's ability to run the ground, they'll just run it down the Jets' throats all day long. They could easily go with the Belichick Mac Jones game plan of not even throwing the ball, just run it as much as you want, because I don't think the Jets have the personnel nor the talent to stop it. For the Jets, you just want to see more progression from Zach Wilson, really. Elijah Moore hasn't practiced all week with the groin, I think, so he's 50-50. I don't think he's going to play. That takes away more weapons for them. Corey Davis is already on IR for the year. It's a tough environment for Zach Wilson to go through. This is a really good defense that they're going to be going against, too. I don't expect the Jets to put up too many offensive points here. I'll take New Orleans to cover and the
under. I know for sure one thing. They're playing in MetLife. It's going to be windy, cold, bad field conditions all in all.
Someone's getting hurt.
and it's going to be sloppy. So I expect New Orleans to run the ball a lot, and I expect the Jets to just self-implode for most of the game probably. But I think they'll compete a little bit. So I think I took the Jets to actually cover because I don't believe I could just pick Taysom Hill to cover a touchdown plus, even as bad as the Jets are. So I took New Orleans 21-17, which actually, yeah. So the Jets barely cover. I just think there'll be low possessions, low scoring type of game where the Saints just handle the Jets and maybe they fall into a patented garbage time touchdown.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Jets. I can't take Trevor Siemian and have him be a favorite. I just can't.
Taysom Hill start, no, not Trevor Siemian.
Trevor, yeah.
Either way, I can't take either one of those quarterbacks as a favorite. So I would take the Jets. They looked better last week. You know, their first half was much better, and that's where they've really been losing ball games is in the first half. So I'll take the New York Jets. I think they even have a chance to win. If you're insane, sprinkle a little money line on the Jets.
I like the chances too. I like the chances, like I was saying, yeah.
And I'll take the under as well. Yeah, I'll take the under. Either way, I think that's going to hit whoever wins this game. So let's keep it going. We'll go to an AFC South matchup. Jacksonville heading to Tennessee. Tennessee, an 8.5-point favorite, over under 43.5.
Tennessee needs this one. They really, really do. They've been kind of going up and down ever since they went on that run of beating all the playoff teams. Now they've kind of played some of the lesser competition. They've looked much more vulnerable. They a much needed bye week for them to kind of figure out how their roster is going to perform with all these injuries that they've got going on. They should get Julio back on Sunday. He was activated from IR. So that's going to be a big help for them to have somebody who can go out there and be just a decoy, even a playmaker on the outside that can expose a weak Jacksonville secondary. Jacksonville hasn't looked good on either other side of the ball all year. It's been a really long stretch of bad football for them. Their defense played well in the Buffalo game, but that's their shining performance of the year. They haven't been good outside of that. And offensively, they can't do anything because they don't have any weapons. And they benched their best running back for one fumble mistake. In that case, I think Tennessee will take care of business here against a bad Jacksonville team because Tennessee knows they need to take care of business here to keep their firm hold on the AFC South and their playoff spot as a whole. They're still fighting for a 1 seed along with the other teams, and they have tiebreaker over everybody. So they're right in the thick of it. So I'll take Tennessee to cover here and the under because I don't expect Jacksonville to be able to do a whole lot on a really good Tennessee defense.
Do I believe Jacksonville has a game plan and a possibility of winning this game? I do. Am I going to bank on that possibility? I just can't, based on the things we've seen from Jacksonville. They're just really young, really bad, and have a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach. So I'm going to give Tennessee the benefit of the doubt. I don't think it'll be high scoring. I don't think they'll just wash them out because I think the injuries to Tennessee have made that impossible of a thing to happen. Maybe they just beat them. They are getting Zach Cunningham. That's going to be a nice piece to see if he's still got anything left in him. But I took Tennessee 24-13. I guess an easy under and a cover barely because I just can't bank on Jacksonville. But a lot of underdogs looking like they have no chance. So some of them are gonna win. But yeah. I don't want to bank on Jacksonville this week.
Yeah, I mean I think Jacksonville is dead in the water. They're going for draft picks, hopefully to help Trevor. So I'm gonna go with Tennessee as well. I don't know how Tennessee's going to do it. I'm just hoping they do it. Hungry dog runs faster, and they really need this one. Division opponent, so they'll be juiced up. So I'll take Tennessee and the under. All right, so let's go to another divisional matchup. Baltimore heading to Cleveland. Cleveland minus 2.5, over under 42.5.
Got a nice rematch of the worst game of 2021, arguably 2 weeks ago when Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield both went out there trying their hardest to lose a football game. I guess Baltimore wanted to win slightly more than Cleveland did, and they were able to overcome their quarterback's abysmal QB play. For Cleveland, they're coming off the bye. Both of their running backs are finally healthy for the first time since the first part of the season. Their offensive line is as healthy as it's going to be. You expect them to be able to get back to doing what they do best, and that's running the football, getting the play action passing game going with Baker Mayfield. Hopefully, they can hold up in pass protection. I think like Cleveland coming off the bye week, hopefully we're going to see a better version of Cleveland that we've seen in the past month. Hopefully Baker Mayfield has taken this time to get as much rest as he possibly can get, and he can go out there and look presentable. Baltimore, they're on their own personal slide. They kind of need to stave that off right now because they're spot at the top of the conference is slipping, but the injuries, the hits just keep coming for them. Obviously, Marlon Humphrey being out for the season is just devastating for a defense that's got nothing but that's just been killed by injuries all year. It was supposed to be the strength of their team, especially in the secondary, and all those guys are hurt. It's almost too much to overcome. So in this one, I'm going to take Cleveland to cover at 2.5 barely. I do think this is a one-score game coming down the stretch in the fourth quarter, but I think Cleveland's a little bit more healthy, and I expect their ability to run the ball to be what gets them over the top here. And I don't think Baltimore is good enough to beat Cleveland twice, in my opinion. So I'll take Cleveland, though. I'll take Cleveland to cover, and I'll take the under.
Yeah, I think your last point you made is the biggest reason I'm thinking. I just don't believe Baltimore is good enough after all these injuries to beat Cleveland twice this year. I think these teams are pretty equal. They've both been banged up, so the injuries keeps them on, I think, a pretty even playing field. Maybe Cleveland's a little bit more healthier. They have more impact offensive players playing, but Baltimore's defense has not been anything crazy impressive this year, and neither of these offenses have been impressive. But I think this will be a classic AFC North football game. Like, I don't think I'm going to pick Cleveland to cover, but only by a field goal, 24-21, because I think we'll get a highly contested game through and through. This shouldn't be a blowout, but it's going to be physical, and luckily weather conditions will probably keep it close.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go back to my Taysom Hill logic. I can't take injured Baker Mayfield as a favorite. I'm going to take Baltimore with the points. I know they're injured, but a healthy Lamar all you need on that offense is a healthy Lamar Jackson. Hopefully he can make plays. Also, Myles Garrett has come out and said their level of focus hasn't been there this week. So that's telling me that he believes that they haven't been locked in. And this is a big game, and if you're not locked in for this game as a division rival, I don't know when you're going to get locked in. So I'll take Baltimore. The under, I think, is pretty inevitable. It's going to be some ugly football, but that's AFC North football.
It's under season. It's December. It's outside football. Hit your unders now.
I've actually got the over.
Oh yeah, you have the over, but the over unders are about to be like all the over unders are like the mid to low 40s right now.
Football weather. Nice outside factors.
All right, so let's go to my game. Atlanta coming to Carolina. Carolina's -2.5, over under 41.5.
I honestly believe whoever I pick, the opposite's going to happen, because that's just how even these teams are in real life. I really don't think there's much of a difference between you two. I think the Falcons have the veteran quarterback, and you tend to want to lean the veteran quarterback with who's the underdog, just because you can always trust. You can trust Matt Ryan more than you can trust Cam Newton. But I think Carolina is the better foot. I think Carolina is slightly better overall, and they're at home. And I think their defense is going to be what the key is here. Stefan Gilmore has gone back to looking like one of the better cornerbacks in the league since he joined Carolina, back in a nice press man-to-man scheme with some great blitzing in front of him. He looks like himself again, and they also have really good talent around him. Their pass rush is still outstanding, and Matt Ryan's been getting abused in the pocket the last month or so. The Falcons' O-line is really, really struggling. I don't know how Matt Ryan can overcome that while being a statue in the pocket and not having a bunch of weapons on the outside to help overcome it. You think Cordell Patterson and Kyle Pitts maybe can make a couple of plays to keep a minute, but I think Cam Newton going up against a really bad Falcons defense, especially up the middle, will be able to make enough plays for them to get over the top. I'll take Carolina to cover the 2.5 and be under.
Yeah, I guess what I'll say is I just don't see how Atlanta's going to beat Carolina in the trenches, and that's why I'm going to go with Carolina on top of the fact that they are at home. I think, like you said, Atlanta might do some things on offense, but I just think Carolina's defense will cause enough issues for them.
I think they'll win the game. The Carolina defense will win the game.
There's a chance that Atlanta could win the game and off the bat that they have a better quarterback, but I just don't think today that there's enough. I don't think they have enough better players overall on both sides of the ball throughout the whole game to outman what Carolina's bringing. Maybe Cam Newton keeps playing like trash, and that is the deciding factor. But since Carolina is home, and I think they have the better team defense, and they're better in the trenches,
and a Joe Brady coach's bump. Can't forget the fired coach's bump.
We never even talked about that. The first game they are playing without Joe Brady. No, the second one. He didn't coach the last game. They fired him right before the game. So the first full week, we've known that they've been without him. I took Carolina 21-17. I think it'll be a close game, and I definitely believe we'll be under because neither of these offenses are good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna take Atlanta in this one. I'm full draft mode. This is a great tackle draft. So I want us to be in a great spot to be able to select one of those offensive tackles, or Tyler Linderbaum. Either one. Tackle or Linderbaum. Either one I'd be happy with. So I will take Atlanta to cover and win. I will take the over, though. I think looking back at the game that they had in Atlanta, offense will be there, I think. So I will take Atlanta and the over.
And even impressively, I'm pretty sure Carolina beat Minnesota. And so if they win,
Minnesota beat Carolina in overtime.
All these teams one of these teams is going to be 6 and 7 and continue to be fighting with Minnesota, who we saw win the other day.
Like this in the NFC, the 6 seed it's going to barely be 500, slightly under, or slightly over. So, that's how rough the conference is right this year.
Someone's season is definitely going to be over after this game.
Oh yeah, what I say at the beginning of the show. Back sides are getting tight. It's about to get. It's going to be hard out here, man. You could fall apart.
All right, so let's keep it moving. Let's go to our nation's capital, where Dallas is coming to town. Dallas is 4.5-point favorites, over under 48.
I'll go last. I'll go ahead.
I mean, I expect the Dallas Cowboys to win this game, basically because we all know, as the stats say, they have not. The Washington football team has struggled to beat the Dallas Cowboys in the Dak Prescott era. I think as long as Dallas is healthy on the offensive line, they'll protect, run the ball well, because I don't think Washington's run defense is as good as people think it is, and we know they're missing both of their edges, which is the biggest downer, because I would have liked to see how this game would have went if Washington had both of those guys. Those are two impactful players I would have liked to see. I expect a big game for Terry McLaurin. I don't think he's a good matchup for any cornerback that Dallas has, and that includes Trayvon Diggs, so I expect a big game from him. Logan Thomas, we thought he had voided an ACL tear, but no, still no more of him. But we've seen a lot of good games from Diami Brown. Good plays from Diami Brown. And Curtis Samuel's just been back more and more. Maybe now that Logan Thomas is gone, they'll take a tight end off and go to and be more solid with the 4 receiver sets, maybe. And I expect Washington football team to be able to run the ball, because I don't think Dallas's run defense is that good. So as long as they set the pace there, that's where I'm going. I do believe Washington has a chance to cover in this game. I believe I'm taking Dallas 28-24. I think Washington will slow the pace down, and that's what they'll use to stay in the game. But in the end, I don't think they'll be able to stop Dallas when they need to. Dallas will score because Washington's secondary is not going to be good enough to keep up with those receivers. So when Dallas needs to score whenever they get down, they will. And I think we'll get a good game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Washington football team. I'm going to hold myself, and somehow they're still in this division race. So I'm going to keep with my preseason pick of the Washington football team to win the division. I'll take them to cover, maybe win. We'll see. I think they definitely have a chance. These divisional games, you never know which way this is going to go. So I'll take the Washington football team to cover, hopefully to win, and the over.
And before Moody goes, I'll also say in Washington in December, it's going to be the stadium conditions are going to be crappy. So I expect that to cause some problems, and we'll see if it's any wind problems as well.
Yeah. As Isaiah said, when Dak Prescott plays, they don't have a shot. Like that's really how this rivalry has historically gone. Isaiah was talking about how they're missing both of their edges. He didn't seem too upset about the Cowboys missing both of their tackles last year when Washington football team is beating up on Dallas up and down the field twice last year. They was enjoying themselves. Their fans were enjoying themselves. But I agree with Mike McCarthy. The Dallas Cowboys are going to go win the football game because they're the better football team pretty much across the board, except for maybe interior defensive line. That's it. That's the only advantage they have, and I don't think it's enough. This is the first time the Cowboys have all 22 of their projected starters playing at the same time, healthy. And Washington's league worst pass defense is not going to be able to keep up with these receivers. Amari Cooper loves the Washington football team. Dallas will cover, and I'll take the over because I think they're going to score a lot of points in this one.
And I took the over as well. Because that's
I thought that was going to be your lock, Moody. Anyway, all right, let's keep it moving. Let's go down to Houston, Texas, where Seattle's coming to town. Seattle is -8.5 over under 41.
Yeah, is that the good way to describe this? Yeah. Is that the this has a 40.5 over under because like who wants to watch this? Hopefully this is get done in 2 hours. Seattle's going to handle them here. Like their defense is playing really well, especially in the secondary. They've been covering as well as anybody in the league. You'll expect that to be able to hold down Houston's ability to move the ball, especially with a rookie Davis Mills starting. Russell Wilson starting to look more and more by himself. In Seattle, they understand that at the end of this road, it's going to be some major changes. If they don't turn this around right now, at least show some effort at the end of the year, I think they'll pick it up and try to fight to make sure everyone doesn't get fired. It may be fruitless, but that's what they're going to try to do. So I'll take Seattle to go take care of business against a rookie quarterback and cover. And I'll take the under.
I mean, how could you take the over? I would like to say Houston could win, but their offense is the worst in the league probably. They've been shut out by 30 plus multiple times for the first time ever. They get shut out often, and that's not including the games they don't get shut, just mollywopped by 30. I just can't bank on that offense to do anything. Davis Mills has looked just as good as Tyrod Taylor. They've shown flashes. Sometimes they played good. Most of the time, they're just turning the ball over because they have bad receivers, bad offensive line play. I just got to go with Seattle here to win a boring under 24-8 game where they just handle a bad team. But they're a bad team, too. It's just Houston's top pick in the draft bad, and Seattle's just dysfunctional bad.
Well, sadly, Houston won't have the top pick because the Lions have it right now. But, yeah, this game's pretty easy. I think Seattle handles them. Russell looks like he was back to his normal self last week. So this is a good revamped game for him to build his confidence. So Seattle, how can you take the over? So I'll take the under. So, yeah, I mean, this game should hopefully be over quick. All right, so let's move to Denver, where the cover gods continue to be successful. Denver -10 over under 42.5.
I mean, -10, Denver getting -10. Now I can say I could see Detroit letting down off after a win, the first win by a coach that's never won before. He might not know how to get the players to handle actually winning, and Denver's hard conditions to play in. But unfortunately, I've got to keep riding the hot hand. I'm not just going to jump off the bandwagon. I mean, I could see Detroit letting down and getting blown out, but I can't. Who am I to jump off a bandwagon that I've been championing all year? So I'm going to pick Detroit to win a heartbreaker. I'm going to pick Denver to win a heartbreaker 24-21 because Detroit knows how to keep games competitive and lose close. And I'm just going to have to live with that, picking Detroit. I mean, it is what it is. I won't be mad if they lose.
You want me to go? I'm riding with Detroit again. How can you not? How, like, -10 is disrespectful. I don't know what Isaiah's talking about, how they can't handle the letdown. They won one game. That's not a letdown. Let's get after it again, lose by single digits or win the damn football game, and let's keep riding, Detroit. Let's go. And I will take the over. Fuck it.
I took the over as well.
I don't know how they do this. They lose players, all their good players. No TJ Hawkinson this week. No DeAndre Swift. Jamal Williams hurt. The offensive line's not. It's okay. Quarterback's not good. He's battling injuries. The defense got no names on it. And somehow, some way, they continue to fight. So I'm going to join the fight too, and I'm going to pick Detroit to get the cover here.
Oh, that means Denver's covering.
I don't see how you could give Teddy Bridgewater 10 points in any situations, which is
especially the way he's been playing the last few.
Which is the only problem here. Like Teddy Bridgewater is 10 points better than somebody. I'd argue Jared Goff is a better quarterback than Teddy Bridgewater. So yeah, I'll take Detroit to cover here, and I'll take the under.
It's so easy that Sorry, Detroit. Sorry, Detroit. It's gonna be over like the Eagles.
Which means they're getting blown out. I'm sorry. I picked against Detroit until they won. Now that they won, I can go back to the other side.
All right, so let's go to Isaiah's game. The Giants going cross country to face the Chargers. Chargers -9, over under 43.
I mean, we're still waiting to see how bad the Chargers COVID protocols are going to be, because I think that's the only thing that can make this game, that could swing this game in any other way. Giants have a litany of injuries at quarterback. Saquon Barkley's came off the injury report last week, but went on this week. He'll probably play, but we don't know. Starting Shepard, question mark. Kadarius Toney, question mark. Kenny Galladay, question mark. Evan Ingram or I think it's Kyle Rudolph more likely, question mark. Dory Jackson is out. I think Tony's actually been ruled out. I mean, and for the Chargers, this is good for them. They get to get a nice home game against a team that's headed towards Cancun. I think a lot of players' minds are probably on vacation, probably ready to get some holiday things to get this bad season off their mind. And unless all of the Chargers receivers aren't eligible to play because of COVID, I expect the Giants to lose a game where they fight hard and lose 28-17 when the better team pulls away in the end. I expect Justin Herbert to look good, but I don't know how good, because we'll be in that cover 2 shell, but they'll be able to run on our defense, in my opinion. And I'll take the over because I do believe that we'll be able to run on the Chargers. So that's why I think the Giants will stay in the game. They'll be running the ball on them to move the ball, and the Chargers will just do whatever they want after the Giants just sputter out and stop scoring.
Yeah, 9.5 feels like a lot, just because if this game was in New York, I'd definitely pick the Giants to cover just because of LA and all that stuff. But since this is in LA,
4 o'clock.
I don't think the receiver injuries will kill them as much. Justin Herbert can make the other guys look well enough. He'll use the tight ends. He'll use Eckler in the ground game, in the passing game, whatever. I think the reason why I'll pick the Chargers to cover here is because their defense. I expect their Joey Bosa and company to be able to get after Shake Fromm.
No, Mike Glennon was cleared today.
Mike Glennon, all right, they'll get after Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon, who has a problem with reading the field and throwing the ball in the coverage, is going up against a team that plays lots of coverage. So I expect him to turn the ball over frequently. Saquon clearly is not 100% healthy. So I don't know how much he'll be able to take advantage of the Chargers' weak run defense. So I'll take LAC to cover here, and I'll take the under.
Yeah, I'm with Moody. I'm with the Chargers on this one. I'll take the over as well. I think the Chargers will try to get on track. I know they've been trying to click. Last week was a great week for them. So I think they'll keep the ball rolling on offense. And the Giants will score just enough to hit this over. So I'll go Chargers and over. All right, so let's keep it moving. We'll go to Cincinnati, where San Francisco is coming cross country. San Francisco is a favorite by 1.5, over under 48.5. I'll go first. I'm going back to the well. Cincinnati, lock it up, book it, get your money from FanDuel, DraftKings, wherever it is already. Cincinnati's going to bounce back and get San Francisco. I'm surprised that San Francisco is a favorite going cross country. I know this game's at 4 o'clock, but still, Cincinnati with a bounce back win. I think they win straight out. I mean, this 1.5 might as well bet on money line. So I will take Cincinnati as my lock and the over.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know about lock of the week, but yeah, I'm pretty confident in Cincinnati getting the job done here. Home underdogs against Jimmy Garoppolo, really? Like that feels like stealing, to be honest with you. I think with a San Francisco secondary that's not talented at all, I don't know how they keep up with these receivers. Maybe they can get after maybe Nick Bosa can wreck the game plan, but Cincinnati has done a good job holding up for Joe Burrow. Joe's got to cut 10 down the interceptions. He just does. He's got to figure out a way to get those back together. But I don't think San Francisco has the secondary to really take advantage of it. And then on the other end, Deebo Samuel still dealing with the injury. I don't know how San Fran's offense is going to be able to get the job done with him hurt. He's been the guy doing the heavy lifting. Elijah Mitchell is also out with a concussion, so they're another injury to another running back, a person who carries the ball for them. So it's going to be all on George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk and Jimmy Garoppolo. And I don't think that's enough to go win a game in Cincinnati, out of conference road game, traveling. It's just too much for them to overcome. I'll take Cincinnati to win outright. And what did I take? I took the under.
The under. Well, I think the biggest head point here is that San Francisco has a terrible secondary. And that mismatch alone makes me – this is why I'm going to ride Cincinnati, because I just don't see how that secondary is going to slow down. Either two, they're going to need to take at least two away to win, and they're not probably going to be able to take more than one away, probably Jamar Chase. So I'm going to have to ride with Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I just fear that Joe Burrow's finger injury might cause him to, just a little bit of spotty accuracy, maybe a bad pick, bad conditions because of weather making it harder to throw. And I think Cincinnati runs the ball well, but I think San Francisco clearly is a better run team. So if the game did turn that way to who's running the ball better, I could see why San Francisco could be favored, especially since it's in Cincinnati with bad weather. And it's still a 4:00 kickoff. So somehow a West Coast team coming Midwest, but technically Cincinnati is pretty close to East, where this could have been a 1:00 kick. So that's a NFL night game. San Francisco, a nice little gimme to help them out. But I'll take Cincinnati 31-28. I think it'll be a good game. Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan will probably bring some nice tricks to make it look good. And those receivers for Cincinnati will probably dominate that weak San Francisco secondary.
Moody, what over or under? What did you
say?
That's
the under.
The under, okay. All right, so let's move to hopefully the game of the week. Buffalo heading down to Tampa Bay. Hopefully no wind for Josh Allen. Tampa Bay -3.5, over under 53.5.
It's just this is just the worst possible time to not have a cornerback like Trey White on your team, man. Like, it's rough for Buffalo. Buffalo went on a long stretch of not playing good teams, and now whenever they play good teams, they have a hard time showing up. They have a hard time bringing the physicality, especially in the run game. And I expect Tom Brady to take full advantage of a team that he has dominated for the past 20 years. Buffalo has a hard time stopping the run. Tampa Bay has a quality offensive line and a run game that's really picked it up. I think Leonard Fournette's now top 5 in rushing. It's shocking to see the turnaround of Leonard Fournette. And without Trey White, I have a hard time figuring out how Buffalo can deal with all these weapons that Tom Brady has. They don't rush the passer well enough to make life difficult on him, and the game's in Florida, so it's not like weather conditions will be an issue. I expect Josh Allen to be able to make enough plays. Tampa Bay's defense while it's getting healthier and starting to get back to it, they're still not where they want to be. They're not in the same rhythm they were in the playoff run last year. So I think the Buffalo Bills will be able to hang tight in it. But Tampa Bay's just, with the injury to Trey White and with the way Tampa Bay started to pick it up, I think Tom's going to be able to pick apart that Bucs defense. I'll take Tampa Bay to cover, and I think I took the under.
I'm guessing you're going to take the lock for your lock for the next game. So I'm going to pick this game for my lock as opposed to the Rams game. I'm going to throw a dart at Buffalo. I believe that Tampa Bay, since that's what Skip calls them. I believe that Tampa Bay brings problems, as in they're a good run team. But I'm just gonna believe the bump that Buffalo is gonna get. Bill Belichick, he's playing 3-dimensional chess. He pissed off that Buffalo defense to make sure that they'll be ready to go hunt Tom Brady. And I think those safeties are gonna be trying to make plays in the passing game and force a couple turnovers to make up for a dismal performance from last week. And I just think Buffalo's gonna be pissed off, and they're gonna want to prove that last week was that when they got played with last week by New England, that was just they just got in a trap. And I think they'll come out and they'll win 31-28. Now, I did have Tampa. I did think 21. I did think that Tampa Bay could win it this way, but I'm just going to jump on the Buffalo side here. I've been tossing it back and forth, and and I'm going to believe that they're going to be wanting to redeem themselves after a poor performance the prior week. But I think we'll get a great game between Tom Brady and Josh Allen. Sucks that we didn't get this to be a divisional matchup twice a year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm on Moody's side. I think without Trey White, I think this is going to be a brutal game for Buffalo. I think Tampa Bay is going to dominate this game. So I'm going to take TB12. I think he's going to solidify the MVP. Not solidify, but start creating a gap in the MVP this week. So I will take Tampa Bay easily and the over. All right, so let's keep it moving. Chicago coming to Green Bay to the frozen tundra. Green Bay is 12-point favorites, over under 43.
Aaron Rodgers owns them. Like he said it to himself. It's prime time. It's great to see Justin Fields come back and get to play in a primetime game. I don't think the cold will be a problem for Justin Fields. He's used to playing in the elements. Ohio State, he plays in Chicago, so I don't think those will be gigantic issues for him. But Green Bay is just this is what they own. This is what they do to these guys. Justin Fields has been hurt. I don't expect him to come back and be sharp right away. Green Bay might be getting Jair Alexander back. That's going to be huge for them as well. It makes their defense better and more exotic. Obviously, Green Bay may have one of the top safety duos in the league as well. Aaron Rodgers will take care of business here. This is his house. He knows how to handle Chicago. Chicago is just their season. They're kind of winding down. They're circling the drain on their season. I'll take Green Bay to cover here pretty unquestionably and the over.
While I believe that we'll get some scoring since you took the over, I think I'm going to go with Chicago. I just think that Green Bay is going to play a style where they just handle them, beat them, and make sure leave no doubt that they were the better team, but let Chicago fumble around, fall into the end zone a couple of times, make it look good for a little bit, and then just put them away like they did last time. I got them 28-17, which is an 11-point. I just think 12 is a little too high. I don't think they're just going to run away with this game because of weather conditions. The game script won't call for it, but they'll win. Aaron Rodgers will continue to own them, but I just believe Chicago will cover. Nice boost getting Justin Fields back.
So Moody, this was not your lock?
No, my lock's coming up next.
Okay. And you took the under?
I took the over.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I'm going Green Bay in this one. How can you not take Aaron Rodgers against the Chicago Bears? Yeah, I think he handles his business here and just does Aaron Rodgers things. I'll take the over as well. I think if you're taking a 12-point favorite, you need to take the over because that's what you think is going to happen. So, yeah, Green Bay and the over. All right, so we are to Monday night. The Rams traveling to Arizona. Arizona's 2-point favorites, over under 51.5.
Yeah, like I already said, this will be my lock it in, lock of the week. I don't think Arizona's good enough to beat LAR a second time, especially the way that they manhandled them in LA the first time. I know Arizona's getting healthier. But I think LAR getting that nice cushiony feel-good win against Jacksonville will kind of get their confidence back up. I think Arizona's defense has overachieved, especially in the secondary. I think Cooper Kupp does a good job exposing that. I think they'll be able to run the ball well too. LA does have a quality offensive line. If they can keep Chandler Jones from just blowing Matthew Stafford up, they should be fine offensively. I think they'll be able to put up some points. And defensively, I think they match up really well with what Arizona wants to do. I think if they want to put Ramsey on Hopkins, they can. But I think having Ramsey kind of playing in that nickel role, kind of keeping his eye on Kyler, is just as good a role. Kyler, who hasn't really ran that much, but he's always like to get out the pocket and make plays. But I think the Rams know how to play in these big playoff spots. This game's gonna have a playoff feel. It's basically for the division. If LA doesn't win here, the division is basically locked up for Arizona. I expect them to play with more desperation. I expect them to. I think McVay's a better coach than Clinsbury, and I think LAR gets the job done here. I'll take them to cover, and I'll take the over. I think both offenses show up.
Eric, you go. I'm still thinking about my final decision here.
I think I have the same logic as Moody. I don't think these two teams, I don't think either one of them could beat them twice in 1 year, personally. Both these teams are great. I think Kyler Murray, this is his first real test since coming back from injury. So So yeah, I'll take the Rams. I'll take the over. Yeah, Moody, what did you take again?
I took the over as well.
Okay. So yeah, I'll take the Rams and the over. And Isaiah, stop acting like you don't know where you're gonna go. You're gonna go Rams. You've been all year. I don't know
Now
what.
listen to my thought process behind this. I do believe I actually am going to go with the Arizona Cardinals. I'm going to take them 28-24. I think they win a close, good game, and I think it'll be because they are home. But my caveat is I believe the Arizona Cardinals will win this second game in the regular season.
Just to get sent home in the
And in
playoffs
the
later.
playoffs, when they have the rematch for the third rubber match, LAR will send them home. Arizona gets the win here. They lock up the 1 seed. They can start thinking about the infamous resting starters, and then we'll get another rematch in the playoffs right here. I'm going to highlight Von Miller because I'm going to be interested to see how they use him to contain Kyler Murray, because I just don't know if they have the final game plan on how they're going to use all these new pieces to stop Kyler Murray. So I'm going to hedge against you guys and go with Arizona. And I said 28-24, so that is the over.
Yep.
All right, bold predictions. These are
I'm gonna have a similar prediction to my Cam Newton prediction a few weeks ago.
but for this not for the Cowboys.
No,
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna have it for Taysom Hill. I think Taysom Hill goes 2 in the air and 2 on the ground as they go boat race the New York Jets in MetLife.
I'm going to go to Dallas, and I'm going to pick Dak Prescott to throw 1 touchdown apiece to each one of his receivers.
There's 3 of them
in DC.
Jeez. All right.
And maybe Delta's going for the 4th.
I'm going to go Tampa Bay. I'm going to go Tom Brady has a dominant performance. Borderline buries the Bills. Yeah, I just think he's going to have a special day. No Trey White. I mean, I don't think there's anyone that can stop that offense on their side of the ball. Yeah, Tampa Bay with a dominant performance and going for that 1 seed.
All right. Enjoy.
Have a good one. Enjoy the football.